Today on Fly Rod Chronicles, we're in New Zealand. New Zealand's been on my bucket list for years, even before the show. So we left America, we come over here, and we sought after rainbow trout, brown trout, and everything that New Zealand offers. So this is a show that you don't want to miss. Stick around.
Traveling the world, fishing, enjoying the great outdoors. Those are things that would have seemed impossible to me when I was a kid growing up in the mountains of West Virginia. I'm a lucky man, and I never want to forget it, and I'm hoping that sharing my experiences with folks will inspire them to do the same. I'm Curtis Fleming, and these are my Fly Rod Chronicles.
You know, we're blessed. We get to fish some really cool places, see some cool places. New Zealand's always been on the bucket list. One thing about it, it takes a long time to get there, but it's going to be worth it. Just can't wait to put my feet on the ground of Pornui. You know, I just got done reading in Forbes' list that it is the top 10 fly fishing destination in the world. So, Pornui, here we come. You know, as a kid back in West Virginia, studying world culture, New Zealand was something that was just mysterious to me. We're not just going on a fishing trip, that this is about culture. It's about Americans coming to a place that is free, a place that is a lot like America. You know, people don't realize how long it takes to get across the United States. So we're in San Francisco, and we still got a long ways to go. We've made it about a quarter of the way, but man, from the East Coast to the West Coast, it's a haul, so stick with us. So to leave West Virginia and get to New Zealand, it's quite the adventure. You know, we drove an hour and a half to Pittsburgh, went from Pittsburgh to Chicago, out to San Francisco to Auckland, over to Taupo, hop in a vehicle, hour and a half, you're at Pornui. So what's it take? A lot, but it is worth it. It is worth every minute, every second that somebody steps on your foot and pushes on you in an airline.
Fishing generally takes you to great places around the world. It's challenging in New Zealand. I've done it for many years, and fishing that is, and to meet people from overseas especially and show them the resort, show them the scenery, and get an opportunity for success out here is always very rewarding personally. And I guess that sort of alludes to the fact that it's the people that you meet and then the friends you make along the way, which just adds to the whole experience.
You know, we get to see a lot of cool people in our travels. We get to meet a lot of guides in our travels. And I know for guides, it's like, well, what's Curtis Fleming like? We went ahead and just said, Grant, we want to be a sponge. Treat us like we've never fished before. Grant has been doing this at Pornui for 23 years, and he is very seasoned. He had no problem giving me instruction, but he also didn't have any problem giving me gratitude and that pat on the back and that handshake when it all worked out.
First day we were fishing with Curtis. They arrived sort of midday, so we didn't really get rolling till early afternoon. So we decided to stay on property, a 10 or 15 minute drive down the back here. My idea was to find some riffle water and throw some flies up there and just see what we could do. The moment we got to the river, there were a couple of really nice brown trout sipping. So, you know, my first plan went out the window, switched out, put on a little parachute at him. Oh, he just took off the top.
Oh, I wasn't looking.
And if he comes up,
yeah,
give him a second to eat it.
Okay.
Very slow takes, these fish. Then on Curtis' third cast, he got a 22-inch brown trout. That was a bonus. You know, I guess that's what fishing deals up to you. So we took that. It was pretty good.
There he is. My
Nice work.
first New Zealand.
Let him go, let him go, let him go. Don't horse him.
Just let him go.
You just let him go.
New Zealand brown trout, baby.
How tight's that drag?
Not very tight.
Good. Yeah, you just got that stuff to your right you got to worry about.
Yep, and that's where he's.
Yeah, so you.
Whoa, baby, do you see that? Welcome to New Zealand, baby. Oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me.
What?
Yeah, baby. Oh my God. Whoa, give it to me. Give it to me. Come to this. Man, I mean, we just came 9,000 miles.
That's a great result.
I mean,
3 casts.
It just blows my mind that over 8,000 miles ago, like 30 some hours ago, 5 different planes, we step out, we kind of wash off, we come down here, and you show us a fish like this, and it's like 3rd cast.
Yeah.
Boom.
Great.
And just, I mean, beautiful, beautiful brown trout in New Zealand.
Right, it's a little different to LA Airport, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. And you're right, you got to give them a second to digest it.
Because they just come up so slowly.
Yeah.
And some people strike and they stick their beak through the water.
Yeah.
It's too soon. You got to give them, God save the Queen. Good job.
That will go to my grave. The first fish in New Zealand.
New Zealand fish.
I mean, that's it. Come back for more Fly Rod Chronicles right after this.
Can't get enough of Fly Rod Chronicles? Check us out online.
Closed captioning brought to you by Soft Science, Supreme Comfort Footwear.
Grant, you are loaded down.
I am loaded down.
And back in the U.S., we say loaded for bear. You don't say that in New Zealand, do you?
No, we don't. We don't have to say that.
That's right.
Yeah.
No bear.
No bears. Just a very vicious Labrador.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about things like, or snakes.
Well, I packed my fishing game.
What's that? Oh, did you?
The game.
Yeah. I haven't seen that yet, so that's good. I'm looking forward to it.
That's New Zealand humor right there. Yeah.
No, that'd be good.
That's awesome. I love it.
You ready, Noodle?
Noodle going with us?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Because we've got the big Healy today.
All right, man. This is a big deal, huh?
Yeah, we like to fish this way, and it looks like the wind is going to clear up for us, so no excuse for you not to catch anything.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Gila fishing at its best. You know, helicopter fishing is the Olympics of fly fishing.
New Zealand is the central part of the North Island, South Island, very rugged, inaccessible. So we use helicopters a lot because it just opens up water that would be impractical to walk to even if you're physically able, 3-4 days just to get to our place. So helicopter, those 3 or 4 day hikes can be covered in a 12-minute heli flight, and it just opens up so much more potential and so many more options.
These helicopters are like Cadillacs, and these guys know that, when you're landing in areas that is straight up and down with cliffs and everything, you have to have the best, and that's what Pornui has. So the bird puts us out here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, a classic North Island rainforest river. Running a little high because we have had some rain, given it's the rainforest, but it's certainly fishable. Yeah. We say it's pushy, big volume. So we're going to be looking on the edges for browns, maybe looking out in some of the riffle water for rainbows. So
Gotcha.
A little overcast, but we should be okay.
Something different about fishing in New Zealand. There's a lot of places we go and we spot fish and then we go after that specific fish. Here, you do not blind cast. You do not waste energy. You save that for when you find that fish that you want to target and cast after. It's pretty cool to see how your guides look into the same water through the same eyes that I look through, and they're like, big rock to the left, 4 o'clock, brown trout, 23 inches. I mean, that's what they are trained to do. It takes me time to say, oh yeah, I see it. Usually I fib the first 3 times and tell them I see it, and when I really don't see it. But once you see it, then you start figuring everything out. The first thing I do, look behind me, because everybody's seen Fly Rod Chronicles and they know that fly can end up behind me. But zoning in on that fish, knowing the flow, knowing the presentation, knowing that these fish are very weary, spooky, that you have to make that perfect cast, there is no better reward in the world than making that perfect cast. And when you raise that arm, you just feel the tension go through those muscles.
Hey! Dry fly.
On the dry, baby.
How about that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, brother. You might have to run down and hold it over that. Do you see what I mean?
You do? I mean, you know, we're used to fighting fish. We're used to chasing them, but a little hitch in the giddy up started, and man, it was all on. This could get interesting right here. Oh, get out of there.
That's good.
Get out.
Watch that drop off, Curtis.
And the stump and the trees, and I'm sure all the viewers out there at that point's like, Curtis is done, man. His goose is cooked. I'm all right.
But when it got down in those branches, you know, if I was a betting man, I would have thought there's no way that fish is coming back. You're just gonna have to crank him up. But again, he did a pretty good job. He got around that first snag and then was under that log in the water. And I thought then we were cooked, but he waited out, pulled it up, slid it over. He got it. Very, very happy outcome. Doesn't always work out that way, so great job. Beautiful.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Talk to me. They hadn't seen hillbillies from West Virginia out here, have they? We outsmarted the fish.
That was well done. There's no way I thought he was coming back.
Do I have a net man?
Oh, man.
Do I have me a net man? Do I have me a good net man? Hey, well, give it to me. Welcome to New Zealand, baby. Woo!
Work for that one.
Around and around and
Nice fish. I didn't think he was coming back.
it's all luck.
He took the giant fly.
He did. Yeah, that's just the good Lord saying, you know what, I'm gonna cut Curtis a break.
Because he deserves one today.
He deserves one today.
Yeah. Lovely fish.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Great job.
Thank you. Come back for more Fly Rod Chronicles.
Can't get enough of Fly Rod Chronicles? Check us out online. This segment is brought to you by Fly Rod Chronicles Signature Rods.
You know, we breathe conservation at Fly Rod Chronicles. What they do here with resting the beats and not overfishing different parts of the river is ingenious.
Westerville Ecological Services, time for conservation.
We're really fortunate because we have so many rivers and streams available to us. It's both drive in and fly to. So we can divide rivers into sections we call beats, and a beat would represent a day's fishing. We can rest these beats, not fish them for 4, 5, 6, 7 days.
And it's so cool to see how these guides work together and how they plan and they discuss. We don't want these fish stressed. We want these fish healthy. We want them here after we're gone for our kids, their kids, and generations down the line.
And that's your Westerveld conservation segment.
You know, I got to be honest with you. Fly fishermen by nature, I don't care who you are, who is out there, you exaggerate. I want you to look at me. If you're a fly fisherman, you tell stories. That's what we're taught. So my expectations was come to New Zealand, catch fish after fish after fish after fish. If that's what you're looking for, stay home and go to your favorite pond.
I guess I have to say, fishing in New Zealand for trout, it's not a numbers game. I hear these guys fish the Snake River, we got 23 fish. And my smart comment to them is, oh yeah, what was fish number 17 like? We don't know. You come to New Zealand, you get 3 or 4 fish a day on a good day, and they're going to be over 22 inches, and you remember every one of those fish because you've stalked them, you've worked for them, and they've worked you over, and sometimes you land them, sometimes they get away, but you remember each one of those fish. When you've got the numbers out of your system, New Zealand's a place to come and really hone your skills.
Good brown trout.
Good brown trout. Beautiful colors.
Wow.
On the dry fly.
You know, everybody remembers that big fish. They remember that fish that's on their wall, that's behind the desk that they can show all their friends. This trip, it was that fish that got away. You know, everything was perfect. The presentation was perfect. The way the fish just took that fly, went airborne, came back, went crazy airborne the other way, and just downstream without even acknowledging me will keep me up a lot of nights for a lot of my life. But this is fishing, it's not catching. You know, we fooled the fish. Grant was a good spotter on it. He said lift, and man, that fish did not like that at all.
He did not one little bit.
Yeah. And I think he just went from the North Island to the South Island of New Zealand. He's somewhere down near Tasmania or something like that. Is that going the right direction?
Good enough.
I've gotta get there one way or another. I'm a fishing bum.
So I've been fly fishing for 45 years, over 45 years now, and I've fished quite a bit in the northwest of the US and guided a couple of seasons in Alaska. But at the risk of sounding one-eyed, my favorite fly fishing for trout is still New Zealand, and we've got a few things going on here that appeal to me. We've got relatively big fish in small streams. We've got very clear water where you're sighting your fish before you actually start casting. And the other thing is that's kind of different for New Zealand is we've got so many rivers and streams. You can fish for 5 or 6 days and never see another angler, and that really is a point of difference. We're really lucky here on Poronui. We have a lovely spring creek here on the property, about 12 miles of that. And down the back, we've got a freestone river that is a brown and rainbow combination. Again, drive to access, and the fish there are, you know, average 20 inches, which means we've got some 18 inches, but we also got fish 22, 23 inches, you know, quite common. So it's a great resource to have.
All right, so we make it to New Zealand. We get to experience the food, the culture, the people. We catch the brown trout. Check. Need a good rainbow trout. And I've seen photos, and I've thought about, gosh, wouldn't it be so cool to have a photo or a memory of a rainbow trout like I just saw in that magazine? Well, our wishes was granted. Wow, crazy. You know, how many browns did we hook into? And then, oh, he's trying to take me under. And then Grant spots this big bow. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous bow. He wants in that rock so bad. Okay, I'm gonna bring him right down here, Grant.
Lift his head up.
Okay.
It's right way up high.
Okay.
Way up.
Yeah, my man. Whew. Look at this bow, man. This is awesome. Wow. Hey, Rod, you gotta come look at this guy.
It's time for Trout Unlimited's Release of the Week.
Wow, Grant,
Nice fish.
man,
Good job.
from West Virginia to New Zealand. You know, as a kid in school, I used to dream about this stuff. But poor Nui, I mean, they have something that's just so special here because, I mean, we're standing in a stream that is very comparable to what we have back home in West Virginia. I would compare this to what we got like Gandy Creek. And, you know, you're fishing for small native brook trout here.
Right.
To just pull a 23-inch rainbow out of a stream like this, I'm just blown away.
Yeah, well, it's great that you we finally found one. You know, the crazy thing is, in North Island, people think rainbow trout, and here we are 1.5 days in, we've caught nothing but browns. Finally got your rainbow. That's great.
We're gonna keep heading up the stream here.
Yep.
But it is a 30-minute show, and it's just a trip of a lifetime. Thanks for having us at New Zealand, at
Hey.
Port Nui. We appreciate you, and thank you.
Been our pleasure.
Come back for more Fly Rod Chronicles next week.
I'm just a fishing bum. If I don't have the gas, then I stick out my thumb. I've gotta get there one way or another. I'm a fishing bum.